Hello, everyone. This is Mars from TX1 Research. And today, I'm honored to have opportunity to share my tiny research on SINCON stage. This is my second time SINCON experience. And today's topic, we will focus on how to breaking entry point on a data breach to critical infrastructure of HR Pacific. And before we talk about today's topic, please allow me to introduce who are we? We are TS1, and TS1 is a subsidiary company under Trend Micro, and TS1 is focusing on providing cyber defense and visibility for operational technology. So meanwhile, is we protect the ICS. So we provide the ICS security for everything, and we will make everything is keep operation running. Is my first priority. So I'm Morris Chen, a social researcher of TS1 Networks. I have many experience about spoken many cybersecurity conference, including the Red Hat, DevCon, HackCon, first SINCON or Sectoral Hack in the Box conference. And also I focus on ICS security, IoT, malware analysis, and enterprise security. Some tiny research. Also, I'm the general coordinator of Hacks in Taiwan conference, HackerCon 2021, and coordinate. And today's outline. We know the data breach issue is very unpopular and worldwide. Everyone will focus on some insight on the data breaches, but few people focusing on some insight on data breach for critical infrastructure. So that's why we want to do this research. And we will introduce the data breach and some background knowledge about data breach first. And for we can quickly analyze the massive data and massive liquid data, and we build out data breach systems based on cloud, and we can quickly analyze those results. So and also we will introduce this how we build this analyze systems, and we provide the analyzed result across of Asia Pacific, including 5 countries: Japan, South Korea, India, Taiwan, and Singapore. And then we will share some insight we find about based on our analysis on those critical infrastructure and related to different countries. And then finally, we will propose a takeaway and how to mitigate the data breach issue on your ISIS environment or on your factory, on your OT systems. So first, introductions and what is data breach? Since we know data breach is data leak, and data breach is many way to make this breach. So like a vulnerability attacker may use some vulnerabilities, including 0 day, 1 day, to compromise your OT environment or your systems and steal the data based on this exploit code. And also they can do the phishing. Attacker will do the phishing, send the social engineering mail to your OT guys, to your operator, and then operator click the social engineering emails and will click the malicious link. This will make the control and command and control channel to your environment, and the attacker can steal your data too. Also, some other reasons, including about data records stealed, or employee is unintentional or intentional is to steal by employee steal the credential information on your employees. So that is data breaches. And also, what kinds of data will leak usually contents as our surveyed. And as our surveyed, we find many data breach, data leak, including the email account, password, and this password including the plain password or encrypted password. And the encrypted password will have many types, like different kinds of hash. So we also find many types of passwords, and also some data leak data also including personal information, address, or some confidential content, including the healthcare records or other informations. So there are many ways, and there are many leaks type like including hotel or the Amazon or there's also leak a different type data leak on the global site. And also we know data leak is very popular and also old issue, but no one to perform this research on critical infrastructure sites. So we know according many company, including IBM or other company, they also do the research, but they all usually focus on the lost of how many lost of based on those data breaches. So like a 3.86 million US dollars lost, or something quite behind of some survey of data breach investigations. But few people actually no one to few people report focus on critical manufacturing or critical infrastructure or energy side or water wastewater loss control system behind us, or every day it come with us, come with people and people's life. So that's why we want to perform this data breach research on critical infrastructures. And we know we basically first we perform this research on Taiwan, and then we find Taiwan is very some special situations. So then we want to do this research on Asia Pacific country. So we propose this, and we know they are very chaotic data in different leak data. So we want to formalize this, and we build the data breach analysis systems. So here is our data breach systems overview. We will have a host to collect the data, chaotic data from every different site, dark web, or everywhere. Even we can those places we can get those leak data, and then we will spell the data, formalize it, and convert data to Parquet. And usually we know those data are very big, so that's why we convert data to Parquet, because Parquet have a smaller file size, and we and also can support a very quickly query on the cloud base. So we store to the Parquet size, and we perform the manual way to formalize those chaotic data. And so Parquet will automatically to store to S3 bucket, AWS S3 bucket, and will based on different data set. And also when data landing to S3 bucket, and S3 bucket will trigger some condition to the file serverless code with Lambda, and Lambda will call Athena to add partitions. And in that time, Athena will add the partition based on the S3 bucket. So Athena will access to S3 bucket and to build the index table. So in that time, they will add a partition and finish the still formalized data. And we can analyst can query, can analyze the leak data and search for everything we want with Athena query. And also, we can store our analyzer result to S3, and S3 will trigger another quick site display platform to show our analyzer display data. But for this slide, we not show the quick site view because we want to show more beautiful chart bar chart to everyone. So we will customize another picture. So where we can getting those the data sets, including the like Taiwanese restaurant, or linking Twitter, or some third party surveys, or some people also collect those password dumps, and also survey lists, morpholize lists. So if we call collection 1 to collection 5, and we also collect lists, and also like different data set we collect. And also basically we also collect the over 200 data sets. So they are different data sets, and also after formalizing we have 10 billion leak data piece of data leak we get. And also, we know they are very chaotic data set and formats. So, for example, you will find some data is CSV format, including name, mail, password, enter address, or some like linking. We will use different symbol to spell the mail and password hash, or CSV data, or some SQL format, or some different spell symbol to spread different data set. So we need to figure out what kind of data here, or what field is this is mail, password hash, or other else, or social security number, identifier, identity. We need to make sure this. And also there are many, even those data already be surveyed or already be formalized, but still have some data set also have unnecessary prefix. So we need to spell out those prefix or some comment or some data set is SQL format. So we want to highlight this to make a list is different SQL format. We lead to our data set is formalized. So every data, if repeat or the use list, or we cannot make sure it's useful or validated, and we will delete this data. So we will build a different code to perform the data set to formalize those data. So here's some data set information that you will see the linking Twitter, just a part of our data set, not totally. So different content, including account, email, the password hash, or plain text password. And you will see here is original data. So here is original data, but some miscellaneous. So we will delete those useless data and remove percentage here. So after cleaning data is our real data. We will send it to become the procreate and send it to the SM bucket. So those data over the 10 billions, over the 10 billion next piece of data. And that's what our database based. We analyze it later. So we already have very complete data state. And next thing is what kinds of target we want to analyze. So our analyzed target is focused on Asia Pacific. So we want to know what kinds of Asia Pacific sectors have, because in different country there are different critical infrastructure sectors. So that's why we need to analyze the target first. We need to know who is our target first. So, for example, in Taiwan, there are 8 critical infrastructure sectors, including high-tech park, energy, communication, medical, finance, water, government, and traffic. Or, but in different country, we have some baseline because similar as a hacker want to find the most valuable target as a layer target. So we choose the top 100 in Taiwan for market value as our analyzed target, because so many countries have too many company or target. So we just only choose on those most valuable targets as our analyzed target. And also in Japan, there are 14 critical infrastructure sectors, so also different, including airport, chemical, including critical. But as we know, only some like gas, water, power, energy power supply, the airport or chemical will run the ICS system, control systems, but none other parts. And also we chose the top 100 in Japan for market value, and we know in different country top 100 were different, but we will choose the top 100 and map to critical infrastructures. So we will show this later. Also in Singapore, Singapore have 11 critical infrastructure sectors, including aviation, government, banking, media, energy, healthcare, transportation. Yeah, you need all of them are critical infrastructure sectors. Also, we choose the top 100 about the market value. South Korea too, also. South Korea too, we focus on market value. And India is our target too. And also here is we have a baseline. It's a critical infrastructure status company, and it's in the top 100 market values list. So in Taiwan, there are 98 companies in the list. And in different company, they have many different sub company, but the mail domain or some information is sent, so we delete as a red here. So you will see here is in Taiwan, most company in the list is focused on is silence and industrial park. So like TSSC, like many different company. Also is about silence park. So also targeted have there are 98 companies. And in Japan, only 24 companies in the list, because in different countries they are have different situations. But only of our surveyed, only 24 companies in the Japan the critical infrastructure status list. So like including chemical, financial information and communication, logistic or petroleum, railway in the list. So also it is our target for 24 companies in the list. And Singapore have 17 companies in the list, including media, land, information and communication, energy, banking, aviation, healthcare. So only 17. And South Korea, 27. 27, and they usually focus on financial or energy. And in India, I have 44 companies in the list, and most of them is including banking and finance or critical manufacturing, energy. So we already reviewed those country critical infrastructure sectors. You will find in some common sectors, including the energy, water, banking, finance, or manufacturing. Of them is our target to analyze. So we already know the top 100 in the market value, and we know who are the target we want to analyze in different country. So next thing is we need to compare those companies' email address and with our database. So likely so we will show the AWS a similar portal to query the data. So we can select the different things we want and map to the email domain and find the listings, the mail password, plain text password, and the data source we find, and we propose this mapping. So we already know how we analyze those data, right? So the things we want to show some simple analysis results. So first things before we share this leakage analysis by country. Before this, we need to know we have 4 pointer focus on count leakage, the count with each sector. So we will count the leakage count by countries, and we will calculate the leakage result by countries. This is amount of leak data plus to amount of employees. So also, the other part is we want to know the password strong score by country and the mapping to dictionary result. You will be curious about one thing is password score. Why we want to choose password strengthen and try to calculate the password mapping dictionary results, because as we know, if password strong not strong enough, will be easy to crack by hacker. So we want to also review, so also check the password strength. We want to know those leak data, those leak password is strong enough or not. And also some enterprise or some people will happy to use the or password or weak password and also even strong password, but in the dictionary, in the password dictionary. So we map to the leaked password to a top 100,000 password dictionaries to find out the status with password can use the brute force to crack it. So that's our point. And so here you show some in leakage analysis by countries. So you will see in the left side leakage count by countries, including Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, India. And there are different status we count. So you will find Taiwan, you will find India. There are many leakage count on their country, and Singapore, Japan, and Korea is more or less. But if you focus on leakage ratio, you will find one thing is Singapore and South Korea is very high, and Taiwan only 7%, and Japan only 2%. It's very low numbers in this counting. So leakage ratio. And if you when we look at the leakage password strong score by country, you will find Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, and South Korea, India here. And usually we will define one key attribute is over 3 to 5 point score will be good password, because last three is very easy to crack by hacker. Hacker just guessed the password maybe 1 million. You will hit one time one password. so it's very weak password. So usually Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, India, average is 1 to 2 strong score. It's not strong enough. And if you map to dictionary attack, you will find that in Singapore have 14, almost 15%. The meanwhile is if attacker use the dictionary attack to brute force the Singapore critical infrastructure status systems, every 100 people will successfully to log in 50 people's the credentials if based on this analysis. And also Japan is have more strong password and lower password dictionary percentage. Also, leakage ratio also very low. So I would say, and Japan is very different. And also we dive into the by each country, and in different country they have different critical infrastructure centers, right? So we based on the different sectors to perform the analyze because we already know the different country situation, and then we want to know um in each countries what difference between the different sectors. So we want to highlight this. So we want to know the situation. So in the Taiwan, silence and industrial park have a very high leakage count, but when we turn to the leakage ratio, we will find one thing is the percentage of telecount is most highest is 26%, because and like only 3 company in the list. But you focus on password, strong score, and only usually it's very average is 1 to 2 point between 1 and 2. So it's very weak password, I think. And also if you focus on to the mapping to dictionary attack, and usually will be 10 to 50 14 percentage to the mapping to mapping list. So we will say in different indicators, there are different situation about you will see here. And even Silence Park, because there are 73 companies in the list, so they usually have a more unleashed count usually. But about the ratio, about the past 10 percentage, the telecom will be higher than the Silence Park there. Yeah. And also, if we focus on Singapore, and also you can check the information and communication, banking, energy, and media. We combine the manager and media because in a single company, energy one, media one. So if we surely survey, people will know who company here. But we want to do the identification things. So we want to highlight which company. We just want to propose the general situations, and collect people should be pay attention on this part. And also, if we focus on literature show and information communication, and have more literature show here, but the password strength still very average, very same. And then password dictionary, healthcare very weak because every 100 people can hit 30 people to in the password dictionary. It is very weak. And also to Japan. And also we know Japan is very special companies because a special country because Japan have there are 4 or 5 sectors, including financial, chemical, petroleum, railway, information and communication. And for the leakage ratio, we will find the things is the most high ratio only not less than 6%. Financial and chemical to 5%, but to railway only 0.218 percentage. It's very low percentage on the leakage ratio. As our survey is my most lower percentage I see. It's very tricky and very powerful. And also, if you focus on password strong score, password score, you will find the password usually higher than other country, and the average is to between 2 and 3, but other country usually between 1 and 2. So it is very different situations. And also, if we focus on the dictionary result, mapping to dictionary, and only 5%, and highlights in financial status only 5.91% to this part. It is very different. It's very different because you compare maybe Singapore, you'll find 40%, 30%, or in the bar chart. But in Japan, only 5%, 6% is very little percentage. So we need to highlight this is very special situation for Japan. And also South Korea. And also South Korea have only 4 status, including energy, telecommunication, financials, transportations. Yeah, you will find the leakage ratio and leakage count in energy also very high, But the peso also in the South Korea energy status, the peso score is lowest than other 3 setters. But for to the mapping the dictionary attack on dictionary password dictionary, you will find the transportation is highest, and second place is energy. So you will find this many different situations. It's very tricky and fun. Have fun. And India. In India, you will find banking, you will find audio manufacturing have a very high leakage count, but for leakage ratio, the transportation, telecommunication is very high. And as you know, as from to now, you will find one thing is usually many country in the telecommunication have very high leakage result in their status. And also number 2 is critical manufacturing have 25 percentage to leakage result. And the password score also not between 1 to 2, not very strong. And mapping dictionary also to transportation is very high, and average between 9 to 30%. So it is India. So you will know in different country they have different situations to show this event, and told you how to analyzing how to different across the Asia Pacific countries, because we know different countries have different situation on the data breach with the critical infrastructures. And also we some count the top 10 password, and 5 country use, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is also general weak password, and also have 3 country use a keyboard port password, or the different port root password. So, but you are curious about one thing is, but data breach can be one of the attack vectors to compromise the ICS environment. My answer is a potential risk, because there are many security events and incidents happened before. For example, like in 2015, a Ukrainian power grid cyber attack. These things is from social engineering email, and attacker sent a phishing email to the OT guys with Microsoft document. And this document embedded the Black Energy 3 malware. And when operator clicked it, and you will find things where attacker get this email address, maybe like from leaked database, maybe. So, but it's one way to get the email address, and then the malware will connect to CNC server, and then attacker can connect to the business network to find everything they want. And very lucky things for hack is they find the VPN credential on the business network, and they can do the remote access to control system network with a VPN from business network to control system network. And then attacker can easy to into the control system network and use the extended remote access tool to operate the remote stations and manipulate the breaker within 30 minutes to make the power outage. Then to want to in that timing step forward, the power ready stop supplied, so no power use already. But attack want to delay the power recovery, so the attacker use the malicious firmware to upload malicious firmware to serial to Ethernet gateway and to shut down the network communication in the control system and the field devices network. And then in that time, the people cannot operate with remotely in the control system network, right? So operator need to on site to handle this event. But attacker use the modified kill disk malware to erase the master boot. And very unfortunately, some remote terminal unit also is Windows based, so also infected by this kill disk malware. So in that time, your operating system operator or your app Gemini already be erased by this malware, so you cannot use this anymore. And then also attacker use the UPS system to perform a schedule task to make your UPS outage. And in the time, people or operator already don't know how to deal with this situation, so they will try to call out. But however, attacker to perform a telephone denial of service attack to the call center, so operator cannot call help for other people. So I will say, phishing email, you have email address or email, you have password. It's very tricky things. It's very tricky things you can fish and you can perform this email on your preventive initial access part. It's real things. And so we will also find many portal on the internet you can access, including some company supply chain website or mods or different company that provided VPN service and connect to the Active Directory credential. And if the people use those Active Directory credential to register the third-party service like Facebook, LinkedIn, and the password leak, and maybe have a problem to perform the attack by attacker. So attacker can get this password, can get this email address, and try to compromise your environment easily and to log on the VPN or the other mail service from outside to directly to inside here. And also, we also find the real things in this year in the United States. Florida water treatment plant hit by cyber attack. These things is in February 2, 3.0 billion account and password leaked on the internet. And some leaked password, some leaked address about this water plant. You will see the osmosis water purification plant here. And after that, in February 5, find one thing is attack use the TeamViewer in remote access to the water plant and to adjust the label of some value from 100 part per ppm to many high ppm with a TeamViewer. But the very lucky thing is operator find these things, so not other infect by real infect on this environment. But it's very tricky because February 2 leaked password and February 5 attack happened. And also, some Corona pipeline event also very tricky thing is use compromised VPN credential. So how to compromise it and how to get this compromised VPN credential. So on May 7th, Cisco was first to shut down. And May 9th, President Joe Biden say state of emergencies. And this event is still 4.4 million USD dollars and pipelines pay it. It's a ransomware attack, but this initial things is maybe the VPN credential leak to compromise it. So maybe it's leak or maybe it's compromised, but we don't know how to compromise this VPN credential. But we have many simulations and we have many fine things. Is attacker can use different attack way to attack method to compromise, but initial things is they need to get the many email address or if they have the credential can log into the list environment. It's very dangerous things. So usually attacker exploit or vulnerabilization or to try to compromise and try to perform this attack to get the AD server credential while AD behind or AD behind 85 to perform this attack, and then to perform a lateral movement and command and control to defensive evasion and successfully to ransom and steal the data to perform a double ransom things. So we have many real case to in this part because if you leak data still voided, and attacker may use this leak data or steal data to compromise or to log on to as a normal user to log on to your OT environment is very dangerous things. So you need to prevent it. But some takeaway here, and over 0.55 million critical infrastructure email and password leak on over 5 countries, and the highly leakage ratio with the telecommunication and energy. So it's very probably for attack. If attacker want to perform a different attack, they want to find a voting account, they can use this weight. But we will say this is a potential risk because we are not validate. We are not validate the email accounts is still work or not. We not do this. We don't do this active things to like attack. We just a simulation to analyze these. So almost there are almost 10% passwords can be mapped to the top 100,000 password dictionary successfully. And how to mitigation? I usually will suggest that you need to prevent your whatever account be taken over his piece. You should use the TTPS to let your company to conduct different detection and response, and no matter what, in your company email address, in your company email box, you should not click other email address, email from which the center you don't know, and you should not use the same password in multiple accounts. So you should use a different password, and no regulation, no other rules can be followed in the different multiple accounts. So never click mail. The center you don't know, and use the brute force detection mechanism or two-factor authentications, and I believe this can help you to detect your the attacks. So I know it's a data breach research for Asia Pacific, and we just want to know the data breach situation across Asia Pacific countries, and we know basically most country or most critical infrastructures, some countries, some factory or some sectors still very weak and have a high potential risk on the data breach side. So you should take some attention, pay some attention on this part. So I think this is my presentation, and thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, and welcome to Twitter me or mail to me. Thank you. Thank you for listening.